I did not know even after the lobotomy that I had a lobotomy. I didn't know it was done until 3 weeks afterwards when I was told by Freeman.
When Howard Dully was just 12 years old, he underwent a lobotomy, performed by the notorious icepick surgeon, Dr. Walter Freeman. Howard Dully's stepmother admitted him to a private hospital in order to address his misbehavior, which had been misdiagnosed as schizophrenia.
She just wanted a solution to me, and whatever that solution brought, she was willing to accept.
There, Dully underwent a lobotomy procedure at Freeman's hands. He was wheeled into an operating theatre and given a series of electric shocks to sedate him.
I do remember that they gave me electroshock. Freeman stated that he probably gave me one more than I need.
But the rest was a blur. Upon waking from the surgery, his eyes were swollen and bruised, and he was running a high fever, unaware of the full extent of what had been done to him.
I didn't even know it had been done when I was there.
What he didn't know was that he had been subjected to one of the most brutal surgical procedures in medical history. Dr. Walter Freeman would become infamous for performing up to 25 lobotomies in a single day. A pick-like instrument was forced through the back of the eye socket to pierce the thin bone separating it from the frontal lobes.
With a hammer, tap through the brain, wiggle it about, sever the frontal lobes, withdraw it.
Freeman would present before and after close-ups of patient faces as evidence of the surgery's success, when really, the reality was much more bleak, with patients becoming emotionally numb and physically docile.
There was a number of children who received lobotomies at Freeman's hands.
Howard Dully had exhibited typical behavior for a boy his age, riding his bike, playing chess, and occasionally misbehaving. After his mother died of cancer, his father, Rodney, remarried a woman called Lou, who found her new stepson almost impossible to control.
My dislike and my problem with her was that I felt she was trying to replace my mom, which I would feel would be a natural reaction for a kid whose mom died.
Dully grew up in an atmosphere of emotional abuse and neglect. He was given regular beatings and forced to eat meals on his own.
She would punish me or do things to me that would aggravate me, so it would just snowball.
Increasingly convinced that there was something emotionally wrong with her stepson, Lou sought out Freeman.
I probably was seen 3 times by Freeman.
Freeman's diagnosis of schizophrenia was based on seemingly minor behaviors which he interpreted as signs of a deeper mental disorder. Thus, Dully was deemed a perfect candidate for the lobotomy procedure. At just age 12, Howard Dully was Freeman's youngest ever patient.
I've always felt that something was taken from me. You're always different. You're always strange. You're not normal in your mind.
His recovery was remarkable compared to many other lobotomy patients. Some survivors were crippled for life, while others lived in a persistent vegetative state, like Rosemary Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's sister, who was operated on by Dr. Freeman in 1941 at the request of her father.
It left her incapacitated, unable to speak, unable to walk.
Dully eventually led a relatively normal life, marrying, raising a family, and holding down a job. And while Freeman's unorthodox methods and disregard for safety protocols led to criticism, he never formally lost his license to practice medicine.